Hello, this is the Chris Vaughn Podcast. I want to encourage you to go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. That's chrisvaughn.net, CHRISVAUGHN.net, lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. I'd love to give you and share with you 10 life lessons you should have learned sooner. 10 essentials to live a full life. Life lessons you should have learned sooner, and you'll wish your younger self had this book 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I put it together so that you can read it. It's a quick read, and it'll give you some exercises through the process. So again, this is the Chris Vaughn Podcast, encouraging you to go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. And here's the program. Hello, and you're listening to the Chris Vaughn Podcast, and this is Chris Vaughn. It's been a couple weeks since I've posted. I regret that. Apologize for that. Seems like right here lately, there is 1,000 interruptions in my life. I mean, it seems like every time I turn around, there is something interrupting. I have my plans. I have my planner. I don't know about you. Try to be organized. Try to have everything laid out like I would like it. You just heard my computer interrupt me again. Notifications. Seems like there's always one. I don't know about you, but man, they can sometimes just get on my nerves. I mean, I have my plans. I've charted my course. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do. I got to get these things done. And is there nothing better than checking off that to-do list? You got number 1 done, number 2, number 3. You got 7, 8, 9 things on there for the day. Let's just say you got 5 and you get 3 or 4. Man, you just feel great. And it seems like sometimes you wake up and the phone starts ringing and this happens and that happens. And I cannot tell you how many interruptions I've had in the last couple of weeks. I mean, let's say even a month. I mean, it's been one interruption after another. Different things between work, neighbors, the president of an HOA. Yay. I mean, this person calls, that person calls. Sometimes you just don't even answer it, because of time. And you're sitting there. Years ago, I had a company phone. Worked at this company probably 50 hours a week. And it was a salary job. But the unwritten rule is when you're home, you're home. And so one night I'm eating dinner, my phone rings and I look and it was my boss and I just let it ring. And about 10 minutes it called again. I just let it ring. I was eating dinner. So here's two rules you have to pay attention to. So I kept eating dinner. And so we had dinner and all 3 of my kids were real small at this time. This was years ago. And probably about 45 minutes after dinner, so we talked, I called him. So what's up, man? Why didn't you answer my call? I had been with you for like 9, 10 hours today. I said, what was it? Well, I don't even remember now. I just know you didn't even answer my call. And, there's sometimes you have to create boundaries for when you're available, when you're not available, and what interruptions you allow. And there's nothing wrong with that. Man, do we not feel guilty sometimes doing that? In today's world, man, everybody is connected. We have our cell phones. Saw a great picture not long ago, and it was like a family in 1940. And it showed mother, father, and 3 kids and the dog all at the couch. And they were kneeling and praying. I thought it was very profound in a sense because it showed today. And it was mother and daughter, 3 kids, all looking at their phones. Constant interruptions. Constant access. And I just got to tell you, you've got to feel safe and free. And let me just say, I'm giving you permission to just create some barriers and not let those interruptions control your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. You've got to create margins. I'm in my 50s now, and I remember in the 80s, everything in the 80s was, excellence, getting things done. the 1 minute time manager, the 10-minute time manager. I mean, finally, I think we're down to the 10-second time management system, how to get more done. The problem is always not, whatever, it's your goals. You're not setting goals. You're not, and of course that can be, and, you know, email me, Chris@chrisvaughn.net. We can talk about goal setting or time management for that matter. But sometimes we let that just run and dictate our life. And the problem with that is you quit living. You quit, So number one, point one, create some barriers and give yourself grace for that. Don't feel bad for say a no. No is one of the most powerful things we ought to learn how to say. Can you come over for dinner? No. Can you do this extra? No. Well, why not? Just look at him and say, I don't want to. I don't have time for that. Years ago, a dear friend of mine, he was my pastor. He asked me, and I traveled a lot then. I was gone every weekend, 2-3 days a week. And so when I was gone, I was gone. And this is before cell phones and touch, and video calling, and phone calls were on Rome, which was vastly expensive. And so when I was gone, I would usually call home about once a day, maybe twice. Had calling cards, my Lord, stocked up on calling cards. To think we live in a day where there's unlimited calling. Wow. And so when I got home, I was home. I wanted to be home with my kids. I still had work to do, still had things to schedule, information packets to send out, things to follow up on. But when I was home, I was home. Every Tuesday was a swim gym. I would take my kids to this, we homeschooled the swim event. So a couple weeks in a row, my pastor, when I would see him on Wednesday nights, he would say, well, let's go play golf. And he's about probably 20 years older than me. Let's go play golf. Let's go play golf. Let's go play golf. Finally, I looked at him, and his name was Chris, too. I said, Pastor Chris? I said, I would love to. I said, but when I'm at home, I want to be home. I said, I'm gone every weekend. And he looked at me and just laughed. He said, he goes, 20 years ago when my kids were small, that's all I wanted to do. He said, I get it. He goes, and what was funny was I was just honest with him, and he totally understood. And and to be honest, I love playing golf. I wanted to play, but I wanted something else more. And so don't feel guilty for saying it. Now, the other flip to that coin is this. Sometimes you ought to embrace the interruptions. Sometimes something, there is a certain mystical quality sometimes in what I call divine interruptions. You're on a path, you're on a course, and something just dramatically happens. A couple weeks ago, me and my wife were at a Lowe's buying some home improvement stuff, and we're about to check out. And we were at the self-checkout because in America now, everybody is a worker for the company you're buying stuff from, it seems. And all the machines are broke, it seems like. So I found this one, and it was a credit debit card only. I don't even think it was giving you a receipt. It was out of paper. I was like, I don't care. I just want to get it and get out of here. The lady at the checkout who managed the self-checkout, and why she was there, I don't know, because it seemed like none of them worked except that one. She said, well, let me just ring you up. So she did. Most amazing thing was, again, I'm in a hurry. I need to go. Got things to do. People to see. I'm a businessman. Gotta go. All of a sudden, she started talking. What's funny was she needed that. She talked about a number of life issues, family issues. And I mean, it was, it's heavy stuff. Come to find out she is a kidney transplant recipient and doing extremely well, and still going through some issues. And she needed that moment for me to clear my schedule and just be there. And we talked, and before we left, my wife said, let's pray for her. So we asked, can we pray for you? I got to be honest. This is probably the best moment of my day was an interruption. So you have to keep a balance in it. You always have to keep a balance on interruptions. Sometimes when the interruptions is for a higher calling, it's always good to embrace it. You never know. You never know who's in front of you in line. You never know the person that you're helping. You can't be so task oriented that you're people negligent. Because I promise you, the people that are wanting something out of you or need something out of you, and I don't mean wanting in a bad way, I mean, or manipulative way, but I mean, there's a draw and they're drawn to you. I promise you always get more in the end by being there in that moment and not being people negligent. And yeah, it looks great on TV to see the power broker and, he's rattling off, but have you ever thought about a time when you needed someone to be there? And you needed someone to just give you that moment, to let you, for you to interrupt their day. Now, see, here's another one of the great laws of life. If you will be willing to let your life be interrupted to serve other people, when you need that interruption, I promise you, I promise you, those moments will come. You reap what you sow. So no matter which side of the coin you're on, always doing the task or always feeling you're interrupted, enjoy the process of it. I promise you, if you don't get your to-do list all done today, it will be there tomorrow. I promise you that. And I promise you this. The interruptions sometimes that you don't think you have time for are the most profitable moments you'll ever live. Where you can help someone, bless someone, pray for someone, be there, let them cry. I promise you, you'll get more out of it than you ever invest. And that's what makes life worthwhile. Hey, so this is Chris Vaughn. Want to encourage you, if you will, go to, oh man, I messed up the link. Go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. I wrote a short little booklet. It's called Life Lessons You Should Have Learned Sooner. It's just 10 lessons, short read. Life Lessons You Should Have Learned Sooner. You can go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net and you can get it. So I want to encourage you right now, go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net and get your copy today. And remember, you're anointed to win, empowered to prosper, and impossible to curse. And I'll see you next time. Hello, this is the Chris Vaughn Podcast. I want to encourage you to go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. That's chrisvaughn.net, CHRISVAUGHN.net, lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. I'd love to give you and share with you 10 life lessons you should have learned sooner. 10 essentials to live a full life. Life lessons you should have learned sooner, and you'll wish your younger self had this book 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I put it together so that you can read it. It's a quick read, and it'll give you some exercises through the process. So again, this is the Chris Vaughn Podcast, encouraging you to go to lifelessons.chrisvaughn.net. And here's the program.